Have you ever heard music where there should be none? This chilling question rings through the air, a prelude to a tale as old as the stones of Briarwood Chapel. Once upon a time, Briarwood Chapel was a sanctuary, a place of solace for those weary from their travels. But as with all things, time and tragedy etched their marks. A day of joy, a wedding ceremony, turned into a day of despair when a fire as relentless and cruel as fate itself raged through the chapel. The beautiful bride, in the midst of her vows, was consumed by the flames. From that day forward, the chapel was abandoned, left to crumble under the weight of its sorrow. Locals, those brave enough to speak of it, whisper of a melody that weaves through the foggy nights. A song so haunting, so heart-wrenching it can only be the bride, her spirit forever bound to the charred remnants of her joyous day, singing her wedding song into the eternal darkness. Intrigued by whispers and fueled by a desire to untangle the truth from the tendrils of myth, best friends Erin and Luke found themselves drawn to the mystery, the allure of the unknown, the thrill of fear, the promise of an adventure like no other stirred within them. And so, with hearts pounding and courage ablaze, they decided to venture into the unknown. As Erin and Luke stepped into the crumbling chapel, the air was thick with soot and the faint, acrid smell of burnt wood. The duo had a singular mission: to unlock the secrets behind the haunting melody of Briarwood Chapel. Their hearts pounded as they ventured further into the shadowy ruins, their only source of light the silver glow of the moon peering in through shattered stained glass windows. Their footsteps echoed in the hollow building, each creak and groan of the ancient wood flooring a testament to the chapel's long-abandoned state. The once grand altar was now a mere skeletal frame, a relic of a time when the chapel was a beacon of hope and solace. As they pressed on, the eerie patterns cast by the moonlight through the broken windows danced around them. The once vibrant hues of the stained glass had faded into ghostly spectres, adding to the chilling ambience that wrapped around them like an icy shroud. It was then that they heard it. Faint at first, barely a whisper in the wind, a melody began to seep into their consciousness. It was beautiful, ethereal, and yet it held a chilling quality that made their skin prickle. The song seemed to echo through the hollow building, bouncing off the crumbling walls and resonating within their very bones. Erin's grip on Luke's arm tightened. "Do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the haunting tune. The melody seemed to grow louder with each step they took, wrapping around them, seeping into their minds, and pulling them deeper into the chapel's enigmatic allure. And then, without warning, a jarring sound tore through the melody. The organ, a dusty and ancient relic untouched for decades, played a discordant note that reverberated through the air, a harsh contrast against the hauntingly beautiful song. It was as though the chapel itself was emitting a warning, a foreboding sign of the spectral encounter that awaited them. Suddenly the organ, dusty and untouched for decades, played a discordant note, sending chills down their spines. The doors slammed shut, shadows lengthened, and the melody turned into anguished cries. The chilling echo of the bride's song was now a piercing wail that echoed off the chapel's crumbling stone walls. Erin and Luke felt their hearts pound like war drums in their chests. The once comforting silence of the chapel was replaced by a symphony of fear. They turned to flee, but the chapel, once a beacon of sanctuary, had become a labyrinth of terror. The aisles they had once walked down, filled with anticipation and intrigue, were now a maze of shadows and fear. Their eyes darted around the dimly lit space, the moonlight now a cold, unfeeling spotlight in their desperate performance of escape. As they ran towards the altar, their breaths ragged and heavy, they saw her. Standing in the flickering light of the chapel was a figure, translucent and ethereal. Dressed in the tattered remnants of a wedding gown, her veil floated around her as if underwater. Her face, obscured by the veil, was a void in the faint light, yet her presence was as palpable as the cold stone beneath their feet. Their hearts froze, and for what felt like an eternity, they stood, locked in this spectral standoff. The figure raised a hand, a silent plea for something lost to time. The eerie melody that had drawn them here now seemed like a requiem, a mournful hymn sung by a bride forever bound to her tragic end. With a surge of adrenaline, they turned and bolted towards a side door, their fear lending them a speed they didn't know they possessed. They burst out into the cold night, the chapel's haunting melody replaced by their own heavy breathing and the distant howl of the wind through the trees. Have you ever heard music where there should be none? A simple question, yet it bears a weighty significance. The chilling echoes of the past often linger in the forgotten corners of our world, whispering their tales to those brave or foolish enough to listen. The saga of the Briarwood Chapel is a testament to this, a symphony of the spectral, a melody of the macabre. Erin and Luke heard it, the mournful strains of a bride's song, a melody that should have been silenced long ago. They ventured into the heart of darkness, drawn by the allure of the unknown, only to be met with a chilling reality. They escaped, yes, but the haunting refrain of the bride's song still lingers, a chilling reminder of their brush with the otherworldly. Let this be a cautionary tale to all. The world is filled with unexplained mysteries, places where the veil between the living and the dead is thin. Abandoned places like the Briarwood Chapel hold tales of sorrow, pain, and sometimes haunting melodies that echo in the silence. These are the Bone Chilling Chronicles, stories of the strange, the spectral, and the downright scary. So, if you have a taste for the terrifying, a penchant for the paranormal, we invite you to join us. Subscribe and follow us for more tales that will make your spine tingle and your heart pound. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and follow us for more. Join us on TikTok and YouTube for more Bone Chilling Chronicles, if you dare.